And we're down to the terrific two. Welcome to Playing the Field, the Bachelor podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Field, the sports anchor here at WABC in New York City. Thank you, as always, for being here. And we are welcoming our two favorite guests who are joining us here every week. You know them, Jen Matarese, our Bachelor Insider from WABC here in New York, our Bachelor Insider from KABC, Gina Sirico, joining us via Zoom out there in sunny Los Angeles. We are here in the suddenly getting colder New York City. I think we need to talk to the people in the budget about moving this show permanently to Southern California so we can just enjoy that lovely year-round weather. And then we wouldn't need to be on Zoom.
I know.
I mean, just think about what's that? Why are our people that are in charge of the budget shaking their heads and giving the cutthroat sign? No, it looks like that's not going to happen.
I can't even get to New York to
Yeah, we can't even get to New York. There's no shot we're moving to Los Angeles for this podcast. The show did start in Los Angeles, and then they showed Mel on his way to the airport, getting started for three very interesting hometown dates.
Very different.
I thought of Gina last night. I often think of Gina during when I watch the show. And I thought of Gina because she usually brings a different perspective and has the insider info about The Bachelor. Gina, before we get into the X's and O's of this show, sports term, is there a reason why we only had 3 hometowns instead of the usual 4? As a Bachelor fan, I'm very confused why they would just drop one out of nowhere and we're down to 3 as opposed to 4.
Your guess is as good as mine. I do not know.
It's the Golden Way? Gary had 3 too?
4. I think they all had 3, didn't they?
Did they really?
Or at least one of them did.
I don't know. Anyway, we should know that.
4.
I thought it was 4 too. I think it should be 4. This whole season, as we've spoken about, has been kind of a sprint to the finish, and we're already down to the Women Tell All. Gina was there for the taping of that. We have an interview with Cindy, a.k.a. Cinderella, coming up here later in the program. So first and foremost, he goes to Las Vegas to see Peg. And Peg is, just a firecracker. And we love her. I can't ever see Peg having a bad day. She's one of those kind of people. Just always brings a lot of energy. And I think Mel is very attracted not only to her spirit, but to her energy and how much fun she is. And I think he kind of said it later in the episode that at this point in his life, he's not looking for perfect. He's looking for somebody to have fun with and do stuff with. And I think Peg checks a lot of those boxes.
She definitely does. And being at that firehouse, I think, was very impressive to him when he saw all of the stuff she had to deal with, all the equipment. I mean, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And we went to ChatGPT or AI. They're going to be hosting this podcast here pretty soon.
Probably.
We're all going to be we're all going to be holograms here in a second. We went to ChatGPT, and they said that Gary Turner did in fact have 3 hometown dates.
Faith, Leslie, and Teresa.
There you go. So now we know.
Set the record
what
straight.
happened. Set the record straight. And we should point out we have Gary on the podcast later this week.
Yeah.
To talk about his new book, or is
that's on November 4th.
November 4th, we have Gary Turner coming up on Playing the Field, a very revealing interview, by the way, about his tell-all book. That's coming up on November 4th, something to keep an eye on. But now that we have the answer to our hometown thing, and there was a lot of satisfaction in Jen's face, Gina, when I read that, knowing that she was right and you and I were wrong.
I'm sure.
She's always the one you least suspect that would be like that. But there is always like a ha-ha, told you so look on her face. A little too much satisfaction in that.
Wait till we show you the ha-ha, I told you so text that we always have about you.
Oh, trust me, there's a lot of ha-ha, told you so text.
That out loud?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
God,
really
sorry.
did. You really did. I had a feeling there was a separate group chat that was separate from the one that I'm in. There's a lot of unanswered. There's a lot of unanswered texts.
You.
We just call it girl chat.
Yeah, it's probably David chimes in. He gets his thoughts in. One day we're going to have everybody on the mic. We're going to have a full confessional. A Play in the Field confessional is coming up later this season. God. We're going to get to all that. But Gina, your overall thoughts on Peg's hometown date?
I would have loved to have been on that the hometown date with her, because not for nothing, that firehouse looked quite lovely, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, trust me, we know what you're saying.
I was like, oh yeah, okay, I would love to go to that firehouse, but it did look like a lot of fun. I love that she was like, yeah, I had a career on the pole.
Yeah, right. That was great.
It was she's just fun and funny and energetic, and that part of it was really fun to watch. The uncomfortable part to watch was when she finally brought him to her family and her daughter kind of tried to get some answers, and she felt, I think, a lot like we do when it comes to hearing Mel, because she was like, you know, do you like my, you know, what do you think of my mom? And he said, great. And she was like, okay. And like, he wasn't giving her much of anything. And so I will say my one complaint about this season is he doesn't always give a lot. He's a man of very few words.
Yep.
But like, we need to hear more. We need to hear more words.
I think part of that,
and that coming up in a minute.
Yeah, I think part of that is by design. He's playing it close to the vest. I mean, obviously the producers don't want him to reveal too much in terms of how he feels about certain women. And I think he's very careful and calculated in the sense that he doesn't want to lead anybody on in terms of how he feels about them. Because I think in a lot of ways, and he alluded to this later in the episode, that he's still figuring it out and he doesn't know how he feels. I feel like you have something on the tip of your tongue.
Because often we see bachelors who are in love with multiple people.
Right.
I kind of feel like he's in love with no one.
And that may be the case. And he said that,
Exactly.
I think, in Cindy's
He feels like
date.
he doesn't have feelings with anybody.
Yeah, that he's not there yet with anyone. And he said, listen, when I say I love you, that's a big deal. As it should be.
Yeah,
As it should be.
It should be a big deal.
It's one of those things that you don't want to love bomb anyone, right? As the kids say. You don't want to love bomb. So you want to be very...
He's barely like bombing her, though.
Well,
Like, there's nothing.
and that's fair. Listen, you're allowed to like bomb. Everybody listening, you're allowed to like bomb. Love bombing, you need to be a little bit more careful. I thought the hometown grilling by Peg's daughter was arguably as good of a Q&A, or at least from the questions part, as any we've ever seen in this Bachelor show.
I think we should have had her on the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, she was like... You talk about an inquisition. She was getting right there and letting him have it. And, you know, listen, it's her mom's future, her mom's feelings at stake. So I can't blame her for that.
I was proud of her. I was like, come on, get that answer out of him. And I think sometimes no answer is an answer.
No answer is an answer.
So we'll have to wait and see.
I know. And it's like, it sucks that we have to do this in chronological order because I have a question on the tip of my tongue. You know, I'm just going to ask it.
Okay.
Because everybody else is wondering.
Okay.
When we got to the rose ceremony.
Yes.
Who did you think were going to be the final two?
Ooh.
I thought it was going to be, and I know you guys are probably going to disagree with me, I thought it was going to be Debbie and Cindy. I thought Peg was out. So when he said Peg first, I was floored. I did not think it was going to be Peg. I thought he really had, the way he looked at Debbie when he got in the car following her hometown date, they had this great lock eyes connection. And then Cindy obviously has been my leader in the clubhouse, sports term, since day one. So I think I was very surprised that it was Peg. I mean, I can't say very surprised because she made it to the final three. Sure. And I thought it was going to be Debbie and Cindy. Who did you think?
I thought it was the two we got, honestly.
Really? Gina,
Yes.
What did you think?
I wasn't sure, to be honest. It could have been any of the three. All three women are just so amazing that it could have been any of the three. I didn't have any.
What's it like? What's it like sitting on a fence, Gina? That can't feel good.
Not very good. It's like them standing on a platform over a pool.
That doesn't feel good either. Come on,
That's
you.
what it's
Why do
like.
they have to stand on that little thing? Couldn't they just stand on the
I don't
ground?
know.
Right? Why did
so
they
odd.
need to do that? Yeah, they're up another
2
level.
feet
Mel's
over
on the
was solid
ground.
ground, and
Yeah, right.
I thought it was a little ick, to be honest.
A little ick. It gave you the ick.
Why are you making them stand there like that?
Gina, if you were,
They've done it a couple of times this season. I didn't love it.
maybe I wasn't clear in my question. If you were betting when you got to the final three, who would you have put money on to make it to the final two?
I will say I thought Debbie could have, just from what we saw in this episode, because there was no grilling, there was no drama. They really did seem to have a lovely connection. I did think she could have made it through.
Are you
And so
satisfied
it
with that
would've been
answer,
her
Jen?
I suppose.
Jen's not satisfied with the
He had
answer.
the chemistry with Debbie that he had with the other two.
Okay.
I think when
Fair.
he would look at them, he saw, hearts and stars and woo with Cindy and Peg.
You saw that with him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
wow.
he looks at them and he's attracted to them. I think he sees as evidence that he let her go, Debbie as a friend.
Now, we should point
And he
out
kisses sometimes.
that our good friend Jen here sees things through a different lens because she's been married for 25 years. So Gina and I are still single and kind of have a fresh eye on these things.
Okay.
Jen, not that it's a bad thing. We just need to provide proper context to the audience. And you haven't been married for 25
All
years.
perspectives are welcome here on this podcast.
That's exactly right.
Well, it's 16.
16. She had to do the math in her head. 16 it took.
James.
16 she's been married. So now that we jumped the gun a little bit, or jumped the shark, as you may, he did go to Denver, Colorado for Debbie's hometown, and my heart breaks for Debbie because she has not brought somebody home in 14 years, and she is such a delight, and it was such a big deal for her to bring him home to her family. She hasn't brought somebody home, like we said, in almost as long as Jen's been married. It's been a long time. So the fact that, she kind of got, it wasn't like a rope-a-dope sports term. It was more like you just hated to see her get sucked in. You almost wish she just could have got sent home earlier for her own sake. And that was my thought on that. I thought they had a wonderful hometown date, though, and I thought he hit it off well with the family. I did point out to myself that they did not close down Red Rocks like they did Griffith Park. There were other people there at Red Rocks, so they didn't have quite the same pole.
There.
Oh, Red Rocks looks amazing.
Yeah.
But that was my takeaway, that I just felt so bad for Debbie at the end when she got let go.
Do you guys think that subconsciously maybe he wants someone that has a family with children like he does? It's like more closely aligned.
That's a good point. I did think that if he ends up with Cindy, they could kind of have like a little Brady Bunch situation going on. Although he needs one more son to match her 3 daughters. But that's a good point. Gina, what do you think?
It's possible. I'm not sure. I think one of the things that she revealed to Mel on this date was that the last relationship that she had, her boyfriend, that they went to the same, they went to the therapist, they talked after the breakup, and he eventually took his life, and she felt a lot of guilt for that, and she had to work through a lot in those years beyond. And maybe the experience, she stopped dating for a while. She talked about all of that. So maybe the kind of getting back into a relationship worried him. I don't know. It's possible. Yeah. To your point, Ryan, maybe he should have let her go if he didn't see that as a possible alignment. But who knows? Because we have no idea what he's thinking about anything. So was that a concern for him? Never being married? We don't know. He said a couple times no, but who really knows? So
he seems to like young energy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But she has that.
Yeah, but he's hanging out at her house mostly with just people over the age of 60.
Right.
And I think he likes the fact that Cindy's got daughters and there's youth around and they're going to be going to do things and they're going to be being around grandkids at some point and stuff like that. I don't know.
No, and that's a great point. And I'm glad Gina also provided some proper context because, people at home might be saying, 14 years, she hasn't brought somebody home.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you go through something as horrific and heartbreaking as she had to go through, it really provides some proper context as to why she's had a hard time putting herself out there, which again goes back to my point. Your heart just breaks for her.
Golden Bachelorette, I think.
You know what? She'd be a great Golden Bachelorette.
Yes.
I think we can all agree on that. Even Gina might hop off the fence for that one and say that Debbie would be
definitely hop off the fence.
You're
great
a fan, right, Gina? You're like a really big Debbie fan.
I love Debbie. I think she's great. I've met her a couple of times, and she's just the sweetest. And I think she deserves all the happiness in the world. And maybe it clearly wasn't with Mel, and that could be great for her. Maybe there is another opportunity out there for her. I'm hoping that there is. I mean, I think it was Cindy who said in the rose ceremony, your love is out there, your great love is out there, or something to that. It's waiting for you. I think everybody wants that for her. And,
absolutely.
She's lovely.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Cindy because that takes us to the third and final date, Austin, Texas. Anybody who's ever been there knows what a great town that is. Cindy kind of has like this lair overlooking the city, penthouse vibes, which I think Mel was really into, by the way.
He loved it.
Mel walked in. He's like, yo, sugar mama, what's going on? She's got a pimp pad there in downtown Austin. And Cindy, you could tell again how much Mel means to her. She was ready to love bomb. Speaking of the, what did she call it? The big L or something?
The big L.
The big L, how she was referring to it. And listen, she is all in on Mel. And I think at the end of the date, she was disappointed that Mel would not give her the clarity, to your lady's point about keeping things close to the vest, would not say to her that he was all in on her. But I don't think we have any issues with how she feels about Mel. I think her kids were great. They might have some concerns similar to Peg's daughter. But overall, I thought this was a really fun date, a very revealing date. And to me, still, she is the leader in the clubhouse.
I think she's our front runner for sure. However, she got nothing back from him. I was waiting for him to say, oh, well, I think I have these strong feelings for you. He gave her nothing.
Nothing. And we've seen, to your point, we've seen other bachelors in previous seasons. I feel like a couple of them, to your point, said, I love you to multiple women, which was not good.
Falling for you, though.
Yeah, Mel's almost too much the other way.
Exactly.
Doesn't give you anything.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
Facebook terminology.
Yes,
from back in the
right,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're putting like your relationship status. Yeah, that's a good point. Good Facebook throwback. And speaking of revealing things, Gina, you had a chance to chat with Cindy. Where and when did that happen?
So that happened last week. They had a Golden Gals brunch. And so I think pretty much most of the women were there. I mean, Robin, Terry, Jerry, our girl Jerry was there, Peg, Cindy, a ton, Lisa, Andra, I mean, a ton of them. And so I pulled Cindy for a little chat, and here's what she had to say.
This experience has been epic. Epic. When you think about an epic book, it talks about a journey that people have been on that is unimaginable. And that's what this has been. It's been epic. I've met a sisterhood of women that were competing for the same man that clearly I have chemistry with and attraction to. And yet we are still so close. And it's just been top to bottom, the most amazing experience. I think you will enjoy the next couple episodes because it's really the time that Mel's got to start opening up. You've seen me cry plenty. But now it's time to see some emotion out of Mel. That's what I would stay tuned toward. These episodes are really going to shake Bachelor Nation, shake the Voldens. And I think we're starting to really see what relationships are like when you're in your golden years, how complicated they can be, and what compromises people have to make. And maybe those compromises people won't make.
Gina, what was your biggest takeaway from Cindy's interview?
She gave a good tease. She says that, I mean, you heard it, that people will have compromises to make, and then some may not make compromises. So we're going to have to see who that is. I just hope that she's happy. She is the loveliest. She's so lovely. And, I hope she's happy with whatever the outcome is.
In the preview for next week, we hear Peg say that she doesn't want to wait 5 or 7 years. I wonder if that's to get married, if it's to move, because Mel can't move from his home with his son.
Yeah, who's in high school, right?
Yeah, in high school still. So I'm sure there's custody arrangements and things there. So maybe she doesn't want to deal with that. I don't know.
Well,
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I guess on the surface, it helps that she lives in Vegas, which is
far,
a
right?
40-minute flight from L.A.
Not far.
Yeah, they can make that work.
They could definitely make that work as opposed to Austin.
As we tell people, you can make this
Yeah, you can make it work. Listen to us. We're the experts. I did.
Cindy did say she was like, I could be in California
Yes,
soon. We
and
never know.
I was just about to say that, Gina, because her daughter signed off on that. They were like, whatever, whatever makes you happy. Well, I mean, they're all grown. 2 of them are married, so that makes sense. That
Wait till they have kids. They're going to want their
yeah,
mom
they're
around.
gonna. Well, and at that point,
date nights,
maybe they could move to Texas. I definitely think she's keeping her pad in Austin. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, it's too beautiful.
Too beautiful to let that one go. So
yeah,
when we look
definitely beautiful.
we look at the trailer for next week, they're in Antigua. And obviously, we're down to the. It's not next week; it's 2 weeks, right? Because the Women Tell All is next week.
Women Tell All is
Awesome
next week.
interviews
Yes.
coming up.
Yeah, we have Gina's awesome interviews from the Women Tell All, which we will hear from Debbie. We saw that in the trailer. But in 2 weeks, they're in Antigua, and we have still not seen the clip from the original trailer for the rest of the season where Jessie says, yes, she's still here. She has not left. So I want to know who that is, and that's setting up for what promises to be the most dramatic finale ever.
I was wondering if it was Debbie, but definitely I don't.
Definitely
think so.
not Debbie. I think it's going to be Cindy, who is like just can't take it anymore and just leaves because Mel can't give her a straight answer. That's my prediction.
I hope we see some emotion from Mel, though. I want to see more. I want to hear more of what he's thinking.
Have we given enough credence to the thought that Mel is still, in a lot of respects, not fully over his previous marriage? It sounds like,
That's true.
And maybe he's having a tough time getting there emotionally with the word love and everything because he still feels maybe a little scorn from what happened from his previous relationship. Gina?
It's possible, but I feel like if he's having any sort of feelings for any of these women, like just say, my feelings are growing. I have some feelings for you. He doesn't have to spout love immediately. Just, I really enjoy you. I have so much fun with you. I like you. Let's see where this goes. Just anything would be nice.
Even
It's like-
attraction-wise.
Yeah, right.
Anything.
Well,
He gives us zero.
He's definitely very attracted to the last two, and I think for different reasons. Cindy, more of a homebody, kind of a more down to earth, a little more someone that he brought up the point that she challenges him intellectually. Like they have
She's
like this sophisticated. They have this intellectual bond where Peg and he, not that it's surface level, certainly have a different type of bond where they're doing more fun activities and outdoorsy stuff and all that stuff. That's my take on it. So, final question.
I feel like...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I just feel like ultimately we need to know how Mel sees the rest of his life because life with Cindy is going to be totally different than life with Peg. And so we just have to know what he thinks it's going to entail. And that may help us figure out who he could end up with.
Quick teaser
Maybe
for...
he needs to figure it out, too.
Yeah, well, I think he's still figuring it out. I think we've alluded to that.
Yeah.
I think he's still in a lot of ways processing and figuring a lot of things out. I like that he's taking his time. He's not jumping into things. So it's going to be very fascinating to watch these final couple episodes unfold. Gina, real quick, Women Tell All, good episode. Was there a lot of revealing things? Should we be excited and looking forward to this?
Yes. I think that some of the feelings that we had about some of the women will be discussed out there. I'm not going to give anything away.
Can't do that.
You're going to see, obviously. Nope, can't give anything away, but you're going to see how some of the women felt about other women. There will be some heat. There will be a little drama. But, I mean, ultimately, kind of like in the first Golden Bachelor Women Tell All, there is a lot of bond there and a lot of sisterhood. And, these women are all so great. I love them. I love them all.
Well, we can't wait for that next week. And if you like our podcast, what do you need to do?
Like and follow us.
Like and follow. I can't believe we only have a couple more episodes left in this season of The Golden Bachelor. Man, it is flying by. But again, we appreciate all of your support. To you, our audience, thank you so much for being here. For Jen and Gina, I'm Ryan. We'll see you next time on Playing the Field.